Hey guys, this is Jeff again. It's Thursday in August at sometime, and I wanted to share a concept with you about personality traits. Have you ever wondered how you can get better at something, but you don't like the thing? Well, the answer is getting somebody else to do that thing that they like to do. And to do that, you need to understand what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you understand what their strengths and weaknesses are, so that you can determine who you need to team up with, whether it's personal or business, so that you can do the very best. Because you can't be everything to everybody at all times. We need other people. So this is a personality, kind of a profiling. I came up with this about 2 or 3 years ago. What happened was, I was at an event in Orlando, and I was the director of marketing for a company that did a lot of awesome, and they still do, personal development events over like a 3-day period of time. And at this event, I think we had about 500-600 people there. And inevitably what happens over a 3-day period of time is people are going to take a break. We have several breaks during the day. And my job was just basically, aside from sales and aside from marketing, it was also to look and see what the processes were like. And so I just sat back and kind of watched people from the company's point of view, as well as the guests, the customers. And what I noticed when I watched the customers is that people were gathering in certain groups, but they weren't connecting group to group. And let me give you an explanation. And I'll tell it through these personality types. What I noticed was there were attractors, believers, connectors, and doers. I kind of coined these terms because it's easy for me to understand and also to remember A, B, C, and D. There were people that were at the center, in the nucleus there, surrounded by other people. I'm like, that's really odd. That person is attracting those people. So I'm like, I'll come up with the word, I guess. That person is probably an attractor, right? And there were other people, also possibly extroverted, that I was noticing, and these people were connectors, and they were bouncing from group to group to group. They were connecting to other groups, but there was only 1 or 2 of those. I could tell the believers and the doers because they were sitting on the fringe. These guys are probably a little more, by nature, observers, probably more analytic. They're not necessarily introverted, but they can be. So those are just some cues. So what I noticed that after speaking to some of these people, that the attractor had a problem. What was this person's problem? It was actually a woman that I had bumped into. Her problem was she didn't know how to connect all of those people that she was drawing in. She would talk to them on a certain level, in a surfacey way. She wouldn't get too deep with them. She couldn't. How could she? If she was going to entertain this whole group, she had to touch them. It was verbal, nonverbal, the things that she told them, but it was just enough to keep their attention, like a fan base or a crowd, but she didn't connect with those people that maybe at another time she could have a meeting, or maybe she can connect them with other people. So if that's not her nature, what should she do? Well, she should probably bump into somebody who's a connector. Now, there's a chance that she has that same personality. It's very rare. What typically happens is you have these outside thinking people, outside thinking personality types, and they're usually connected with the inside. You usually don't have 2 insides and 2 outside personalities in the same body. So for mine, I am a believer, connector, inside, outside. She was an outside, inside. She was an attractor, believer, okay? What's a believer? A believer is somebody who believes that 1 + 1 is 2. That can never, ever be 3. That they live their life based on this principle that if I don't believe it, if I don't trust it, I'm not doing it, okay? That's what a believer is. A connector, we've already discussed, somebody who is connecting people and processes, bringing groups of people together. Their whole goal is to be the like social butterfly. That's their nature. And then the doer, that's the person who is actually doing the thing. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to realize that if a person's digging a ditch, he's a doer. Okay? He obviously has another personality type. Why is this so important? Well, why it's important is, what I've found is that sometimes people think that their whole problem is if they are not a planner, they don't plan, right? Let's say they use sticky notes. They have 1 million of them on their computers, okay? They have a problem. They think that they have a problem, that they aren't analytical enough to use some sort of electronic organizer on your smartphone, to set it up with Google Docs, to be able to set up some sort of system and become some sort of computer programmer. It scares the heck out of somebody who is not as analytical. So what's the solution? Is the solution to abandon what you're really good at so that you can be mediocre at something that you don't like to do? Or do you hire somebody, or do you partner with somebody who likes this kind of stuff, who's probably a believer doer, somebody who sits down and goes, here's the rules. You have profits, you have loss. You have debts, and you have credits. You have debits and you have credits. Those things all should line up. They should all balance at the end. And that's the way it's supposed to be. You need one of those believers in your life if you're not that type of person to do it. Because guess what? Your taxes won't get done. Your billing won't get done. Your forecasting won't get done. Does that make sense? What if you're an outside personality with an inside, so let's say this person right here, they're the attractor, but they're also a believer. What that tells you is this, that if you can convince them through righteous information, but let's say you just convince them that what you have to say is true, they will follow you, and here's the key, they will attract people based on that belief. So if I'm a smart connector, I will connect with this person. I'll say, hey, listen, I have an awesome widget. It does this, 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 and that. If that person can believe it, now what I've done is I have now created an ability to attract all of these people that I couldn't do myself. She is fulfilling her nature, I'm fulfilling my nature, and if we're really smart, we're going to employ somebody who fulfills their nature, which is the person who is the doer, who picks up the phone to talk to all these people, and the believer that when things get really tough, they're like the rah-rah, like, hey man, we can do this. You know, like George Washington, like any awesome general, or somebody who was an athlete or a coach. They have this little extra sense of, you know what, I believe in you so much, I know you could do it. That's why I put this together. So look at this yourself and your own personality and type and decide for yourself, are you an attractor? Are you a believer? Are you a connector or a doer? And pick one as your dominant, and you're going to have another one as your subdominant. Okay? Again, mine is believer, connector. And anybody who knows me, this is another word for saying stubborn if you want to. Anybody who knows me knows that this is absolutely true, and anybody who knows me knows that that's absolutely true. And guess what? If you actually ask somebody to tell you what they think about you, and they understood this premise, they will tell you immediately, because it's not a form of guessing. It's not a form of looking into a crystal ball. It is what it is. If you're an attractor, if you're an attractive young person, and you know how to bring people in, that's obviously a talent. You're a computer programmer, you know how to stick to rules, that's obviously a talent. You're somebody who can sell, who can connect with people, who can connect people with people. You're a connector. You're somebody who doesn't say much, but you just get it done. You're probably a doer. Anyway, I hope this helps. I'm going to get into in much more detail at some point about how you can utilize these personality traits and how quickly you can come to realize who people are very quickly. That's one of the things the connector can do, and that's my nature, so I'm going to teach you that. Well, I hope you have a really great weekend. I hope this helps, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to message me. Have a great day. Thanks.